Just like that, we are live. I'm gonna have to crank up the gain a little bit though, but I'm gonna do that on the actual the device. The critter.
What's the difference between doing it there instead of?
Doing it on there has the benefit of the device is actually built to like increase the volume, and when you do it in the software, it's like it's kind of good, but it's like it's a little better. Ooh, it's a little better when you've got the ability to like really like fine tune it. I knew I needed just like a little bit more, not a lot of bit more. So in that situation, that's where I really was like, you know what? Let us achieve true Blickathin. True Blickathining. I imagine that bonk sounded amazing. But it did. I bet it did. So what are we talking about? We're 1 minute and 2 seconds in at this point.
So what do you think? You want to get deep, or do you want to like just keep it real, or do you want to like just talk?
This is round number 1 of 1. If we don't get this to not be cringy, so I don't know. Whatever you want to talk about. I mean, we could put this thing right on YouTube or anything, man. We could crank right through this. I know how to do all the video editing. I know how to do all the audio stuff. Really? Go back through and add a little extra gain if this isn't loud enough at any point through the whole thing. Like I know how to do all of that stuff. So like I could really like we could go crazy with this if we really wanted. Like I mean we could publish this right away. I mean only 1.9 decibels of gain. What about what?
I have a topic.
What's your topic?
What would your advice be to dealing with a boss that I have?
Ooh.
For the benefit of me and the people who might watch this or hear this, sorry.
Well, the boss you have many different bosses because you work for the government. So it can be this is very generic, and we will keep it very generic. Well, what specific boss do you have challenges with at this current point? Like I don't need a name. I need like to know like what are you dealing with? What are you trying to deal with? If you're implying that you have to deal with somebody already, you've got some problem.
Yeah.
But like explain it in a neutral way, not a
like outside looking in.
An outside looking in, like not like, oh my gosh, this person is that.
Well, from the outside looking in, I would say a person that just from somebody like passing by.
Yeah.
I would say like just somebody who doesn't treat the people around them very fair.
Define fair.
He kind of sets his own categories of how he treats people. Like, you know, like you could be doing a great job, but because you're in this specific category that he has made in his head, he's going to treat you like garbage anyway.
But like, when you say garbage,
yeah,
that it's stuff like that. That's like everyone's got a different threshold in the world of what being treated like garbage is, what being terrible is, what unfair is. If you were to ask somebody with blue hair,
yeah,
what is unfair and what's not fair, they'd have a much different answer than you have. So my whole thing is, what is truly unfair versus your perspective on life?
I think unfair to me would be not really, at least not really giving people a good chance at trying to succeed.
So when you say chance of succeed, what happens when you succeed in a government job?
Uh, Probably nothing.
Well,
Maybe
no, don't try and guess what my answer is. What would you accomplish by, let's say you were able to you were given every opportunity to succeed.
Okay.
What impact would that have on like your future?
What, in terms of a government job?
In terms of the job you have right now, you said you want to be able to succeed at the job and you're not able to. Let's say you were able to succeed. Let's say you didn't have whatever this roadblock is.
Mm-hmm.
What would be different about your day-to-day job being able to succeed, as you put it?
I don't know, just constantly not having the weight on my back that I can't proficiently do what's asked of me because I just simply don't understand sometimes, or I feel like that, there's so much pressure on me.
But when you say weight on your back and pressure, that's stuff that's specific to you. But you said you want to be able to advance, progress.
Yeah.
You're talking about your reflection afterwards.
Okay.
What about what is impeding progression?
I think my mindset, like what you said the other day, like about me always thinking that everything is an achievement and that you are gonna mess up. Like, I don't know. Like, I know for a fact when I do mess up, I am very hard on myself.
I think everyone is.
Like, you know, say things I shouldn't to myself, but
Everyone does that. Everyone's their worst critic. Thus the saying.
Yeah.
The big things you pointed out so far are personal things, though, that you'll have to work through at one point or another. I think you can agree you're going to make mistakes throughout your life, no matter what, right?
Oh yeah.
So, if anything, it sounds like this individual boss that's pointing out every time there's a mistake is probably somebody like verbalizing the same insecurities you have. Would you say that's similar to like what you're thinking internally is like the reaction he's giving?
Yeah, I think in some ways, yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that connection.
So let's make this a little bit of a faith-based conversation.
Okay.
Do you think God's maybe trying to show you something? Sometimes God shows people things by making it as irritating as possible until you can't avoid what the obvious is, even if you want to avoid it. So my question is for you, if your boss is saying the same things that are like, common insecurities that you're trying to, triumph and trying to silence that, negative voice in you.
Yeah.
Maybe God's putting that in front of you in a way where you have to deal with it and you have to learn to ignore it. And it's right in your face. So you're trying to find a solution to it because it's unbearable. So maybe God's making it so unbearable so you can't suppress it and you have to address what that problem is and find a solution for it. Don't get me wrong, it sounds like your boss is a jerk, but it sounds like you're being a jerk to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where there's always a meaning in something. Everything happens for a reason. You might not be able to figure it out, and you might not even be able to figure it out if you sit down and talk through things with people. But sometimes you have an occasional light bulb moment. Sometimes things are easy answers, but not always. Life's confusing. Life's complicated. But I mean, that would be the first thing I would look at is what is your individual opinions on yourself, and if those opinions on yourself are just as harsh, maybe you're actually just being angry at yourself because it's annoying when you see it in another person, but you have a bias towards yourself where it's not, oh my gosh, what this guy's saying is so bad when it's coming from yourself. Because obviously you're not going to go complain to somebody about how you talk to yourself.
Right.
So that person stops.
Right.
So I'd say you need to look deeper into the root cause of why does that bother you? And if it bothers you because you're doing the same thing to yourself, in a way you're being a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Not about really, like, it's not about saying that your boss has justified actions for being a jerk. It's about saying, what really are you angry at, other than it's annoying? Annoying is one thing.
Yeah.
But you say unfair, but then you say you're talking similar about yourself. So you're being unfair to yourself. So which is an easier one of those to conquer? Getting a boss in trouble, or fixing the internal problem first? That's somewhat of a rhetorical answer, but I mean, it's also based on your own interpretation, too.
Which one is easier?
That's a personal thing you have to answer. I can't answer it for you because it's your life. And you have to decide what works the best for you.
Yeah.
But the reason why I took it that direction is people spend a lot of time focusing on themselves when they don't have something better to do. Or when they mess up, they think the whole world's staring at them and everything's all about them. And it's really not like that. Because when you mess up, someone might be like, oh man, that guy messed up. But they're not really going to matter about, it's not going to matter to them in a couple weeks. Unless you did something so catastrophic that they have to deal with the ramifications of it every single day, you can get somebody pretty darn upset. And a few weeks later, it's not as big of a deal to them.
Yeah.
That's really the reality of life.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you messed up, but the only person who has to live with your mess ups all day, every day, is you.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when I get to spaces alone, or when my mind starts to wander, it's like a film running through my head of the times that I've messed up, or the times that I've like made somebody mad, complete unintentionally, but and haven't, not that I haven't found the way to fix it, like to fix that situation. But like, I don't know, because I think one big driving factor of all of it is I seek validation in the things that I do.
Who do you seek validation from, though? You agree that all people are flawed, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So why are you seeking validation from flawed people?
I don't know.
Isn't
never.
their validation flawed as well?
Yeah, but I've never. I feel like there's like one of those moments where like you get a taste of like, that like feel good time of like doing something right.
But is it real? Or is it just a short-term instant gratification?
It's probably short-term instant gratification. But then it's like you search for that.
You search for that if you don't have something else to keep you full. And it's all about what you decide to make matter in your life. Going full circle back to the initial remarks I made about you being a hypocrite of your boss treating you the same way you're talking to yourself. So hear me out on this one.
Yeah.
You're focusing on that because you're trying to always have things be good. And by things not being good, you're trying to find the reason why things aren't good in this very moment. So because of that, you're going through and you're listing off every single thing that you could have done right, when really, it's not about that. It's just a matter of you're in a moment where things aren't going amazing. You can't have bad without good. You can't have exciting moments without boring moments. You can't have high energy moments without low energy moments.
Yeah.
And when you're not in one of those high energy moments, you're in a low energy moment. And if you're not in a good moment, your mind's going to want to put you into a bad moment. That's just the nature of how things go.
It's natural.
So how much of it is really something's wrong as opposed to you can't have one in life without the other. You can't have foods you like without having foods you dislike.
Right.
You can't have people you like without having people you dislike.
Right.
You have to be able to differentiate between things in life. And if life is too good, your mind will always find the bad in life. Because humans are just hardwired to have some sort of suffering in their life. So, do you want that suffering to be something that's real? And when I say that's real, what a lot of people do is they self-destruct their lives in one way or another, whether it's drugs or alcohol or self-sabotage or prostitution, addictions like gambling, many other things. You then have a tangible form of suffering, so it's real. That's why a lot of people, when they make poor choices, embrace the poor choice and go back to it, because it feels familiar, it's predictable. The problem is predictable. That's why people that end up in toxic relationships a lot of times will fight to get back into it, because they end up having trouble in their lives, but they don't have an explanation for it. When they're in a bad situation, they've at least got a reason for it, and it makes sense, as opposed to digging deep and figuring out why you feel that way, which is really hard for people to do. If you have something easy to complain about, like a bad boss, a bad relationship, bad family situation, you have an easy target that's easy to narrow in on, when really it's just masking the underlying problem. And that's what I mean when I said I was taking it full circle. You have an easy target right now for something that's bothered you all along. You just haven't had the identification of what the problem is.
Right.
So, when I was saying God might be trying to show you something, maybe God's telling you you need to attack the root problem. And once you attack that, it's just words.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The human mind's complicated, but in some ways it's really simple too. It's like so predictable when you get out of your own head and you're talking to somebody else. You're just like, dude, how can you not see this?
Yeah.
But then you end up in the exact same situation, almost textbook identical, and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. The world's ending. What do I do?
There was a time, I'd say 2019, 2020.
Terrible years for everybody.
Not for me.
Really? Okay. Let's hear it.
But this is also pre-COVID, let's say.
So we're talking 2019 then, 'cause most of 2020, we all know what happened there. And it was a complete
Things
cluster.
didn't go down until it was March or May, one of those.
Late February is when it started.
Yeah, late February. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Not even a quarter of the way into the year.
And I remember before all that started, I was so happy. Like genuinely, I was just happy.
Pinpoint what things made you happy. Give me 5, or the reasons that made you feel like you were on top of the world.
I was genuinely nice to people. Like when I would say something nice, you could just see their face light up, and that just poured it into me. It's like I aimed to do that. Like my heart was set on that.
So your heart was set on validation.
I wouldn't say validation. It's just like, just making the people around me just feel welcomed and wanted, and genuinely,
Right.
and just really having like I remember I really had like a soft heart. Like I like genuinely, and like just like sometimes like people would be like overwhelmed by just how like just I don't know, just how I wouldn't say bubbly I was, but just
Tweaked out of your mind.
I wouldn't call it tweaked, but just
I know, I'm just exaggerating.
like I was one of those kids, man, where it was just like I was kind of like quiet in school,
Right.
but like when you talk to me, nicest person in the world.
Okay.
I don't mean to like be a, like whatever. It's called arrogant. I don't want it to come across that way.
Did I accuse you of being arrogant?
No.
And I don't think you need to clarify it.
Okay.
I think you're telling the story, and that's how you saw yourself in that story. You're painting a picture here, and you're painting a picture of why those years were like great for you. So you don't need to apologize for anything. You don't need to explain yourself. You're building a picture on why you felt that way.
Yeah.
So by pausing it and saying that you're not being arrogant is feeding right back into that seeking validation to know that people don't think you're arrogant when you're talking about yourself. If you're talking about yourself, there will always be a droplet of self-centeredness, because who are you talking about?
Me.
You.
Yeah.
But that's because that's who you're talking about.
Right.
So there will be a positive bias towards that if you have this thing called self-esteem, which is okay to have. It is okay to be proud of something you did. Now, let's say I went and bought a brand new car.
Yeah.
It's a really cool car.
Yeah.
I saved up all the money because I was working really hard, bought it cash.
Yeah.
And I still got money to spare.
Yeah.
It's all about how you present it. So if I were to go into it and be like, I bought this car, you can't afford it, I'm way better than you, I still have money in the bank, I'm going to go buy a house next. It's not going to come across really good. But if you're like, I worked really hard to get this car and I'm so happy about it. Are you being arrogant?
No.
It's all about how you handle it.
Right.
If you're handling it in a modest and respectable way already, you have nothing to explain for yourself. You're not being arrogant. You're not. This is something that's just been the toxicity of social media of, oh, look at that person, how they're bragging. They've got it so good. They don't know what it's like to suffer, blah, blah, blah. That's just some of the lies social media has put out there. You've seen people that react to people's videos or whatever posts and
so you're saying
show how
that
entitled they are.
So you're saying that I shouldn't have intersected because it wasn't true? You're saying?
It's not a matter of true or false. It's a matter of you're self-sabotaging. And not self-sabotaging in a really harmful way, but I need to make sure everyone knows I'm not bragging. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not saying I'm better than them.
Right.
You're not comparing yourself to somebody. You're talking about yourself.
Right.
If you're talking about yourself in a good way without putting others down, how are you being arrogant?
Right.
Half the time when someone calls somebody arrogant, they're just jealous.
Right.
And they're trying to discourage you.
Right.
I would like to pause quickly for our sponsor of the night, the Revving Up Ford Focus in the color of red. This man, for those who are not aware, revs that up hard. He revs it up so hard when he is a couple blocks away, you can hear him vrooming away. Not only that, when this young brother comes home, this young brother departs and comes home at least 6, if not 7, if not 8 times. Mind you, he still has not pulled in, but we are hearing him rev in the distance. One could argue, you could sense his aura approaching. Now, we don't even know if bro's gonna pull into the driveway. Sometimes bro just drives right by. Like, bro just like stopping in to check on the crib type thing. And this is why I call him a young brother. For reference, this man is white. This man is very white. However, he still revs it up like a true G.
Ooh.
So, that's just a quick word about our sponsor today. The Rizzed Up 2012 red Ford Focus Station Wagon Edition in in the performance package. Which performance package is the real question, Gavin? There's two performance packages that exist with the Ford Focus that both sound equally obnoxious.
Ooh.
Do you know what those two are in Ford?
The obnoxious one and the more obnoxious one?
That is one option that is available. See, Ford Focus, before it became the little soup can fart car, just had a bunch of different trims, and the best one was a titanium.
Before the car guys took it over?
No. The car guys were still involved. They were still involved.
Yeah.
It's just they weren't able to take it to like the same level of like a WRX or like a Mitsubishi Lancer type era, where it's like a cheap car that just sounds like a dirt bike. A dirt bike that's like got like a microphone shoved in its exhaust pipe. I don't know if the microphone picks it up, but we can hear him revving. We can hear him gently approaching, you could say. Oh, that's actually just a beat up car with no exhaust pipe.
Chevy Cruze.
Chevy Cruze 2011, rusting in half.
Yep.
Struts are completely shot.
Probably.
Just went over a pothole. Thing almost bottomed out. I saw it.
Really?
However, I do hear more revving in the distance.
No, that was him taking off.
You think that was him going to Riz?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, enough conversation about our sponsor. Once our sponsor approaches, we'll have to give another honorable mention for him at that point. However, let's talk about what we do and don't want to talk about in this podcast. What don't we want to cover on here? What are some topics that just like would be like not worth getting into?
Just not worth getting into.
Not worth getting into at all. Things that where if you were to just talk about this, you're like,
I'm not checking.
You're not checking. The people wouldn't listen to it.
Yeah.
If they did listen to it, you'd get yourself cooked. You know, stuff like that.
Ooh. I'd have to say.
What's your thought on politics? Should that be a one that is approached or avoided?
To be on the safe side for all viewers, I'd say no.
Well, when you say all viewers, does that mean that you want to appeal to everybody? Or that you're worried that your views would make you disliked by people that knew you if they were to find the channel?
No, just I don't want to create animosity.
There's always animosity. You can never make people happy all the time.
I know.
No matter what, you will always have haters. No matter what, you'll always upset people.
I know. I mean, it's not like out of like a area of like spite or anything. Just to, usually it's just a topic that some people don't want to get into, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. I feel like this podcast should be a way to step out of the world and maybe at some points be vulnerable.
Okay. So you think that politics is one that you shouldn't get into? Okay.
Yeah, I think for just the better of everything, I guess.
What if it's a bipartisan issue that like equally affects everybody, but is still a thing in relation to the politics? So, for instance,
I think if there's like a trending story like this P. Diddy stuff,
yeah,
I think it'd be a topic to bring up. Just like, yo, that's crazy. This stuff like that, or like Kendrick Lamar, what's going on there, and Drake, and stuff like that. But
I haven't followed what's going on with Kendrick.
Yeah, I don't know, but
can you give me like a 5-second recap? Like,
they
did this.
They had beef or something, and Kendrick Lamar was on the Super Bowl. And,
that was like almost a year ago though.
Yeah, and like he like slid Drake's name into the song and stuff, and like his lyrics and something about underage kids, and just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, there's definitely been some concerns with that. But then again, there's a lot of concerns in the industry overall.
Oh yeah.
It seems like with those people, when they get a lot of money, the first thing they do is get some sort of sketchy allegations related to them. And it's like, guys, you should be looking at the people around you. You should be looking at your role models and maybe learning from their mistakes and not putting yourself into situations where you can have things go bad.
Right.
You know, if it feels bad, it is bad is a tried and true remark. So if you're doing something that can even just look weird, why is that chick just hanging out of the side of the truck? Bro's got no shirt on. What is bro doing?
Bro's got some dirty pants.
There's like a brown spot where he sits. You see that too?
Yeah, I see it.
Alright, so now he's opening up the car.
Oh.
Bro's like... Bro's locked in on something.
He is.
Why does he have no shirt on, though? Can we talk about that? I mean, yes, it's warm out, but... Bro kind of like gave us a look there.
Nah, he's checking to see if there's any haters.
Would you say that in this context, we are the haters?
Maybe, but I'd rather have haters calling than not.
I mean, would you say we're haters or inquirers, though?
Inquirers, I mean, we're not really like flaming bro, you know?
I mean, it was definitely interesting that there's like a big brown mark on his shorts.
Well, yeah, I mean, like anybody would say that, though.
You think so?
Yeah, I think like somebody would just like, you know, hey bro, like you got something going on there.
So remember how I was mentioning a multitude of vehicles pull into this driveway?
Yeah.
Again, we have another vehicle approaching the same driveway that our favorite Ford Focus approaches, and they're parking. Now, they can just like drive right in there. Like, we still have a multitude more cars to go.
Ooh.
So, I think that the grand total is about 5 cars that go into that bad boy.
Think so?
That's not a big house. So are we thinking if there's 5 cars, and each of the 5 cars 2 people get out of, there's really like 10 people living in that bad boy? It's not that big.
Hey man, all I'm gonna say is, man, if there's 10 people in there, that thing is crowded.
Yeah.
That thing,
What if they got the whole basement finished?
that house probably stank too.
You think
There's
so?
10 people living. Oh yeah, if there's 10 people living in there.
You're thinking they all like smoke weed?
I don't think they smoke weed, bro. It's just like, you know, you got 10 people living on top of each other. Just
Yeah.
like, you know, that thing probably stank, bro.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's just, you know, me putting my 2 cents in, but I don't.
Yeah. Put your 2 cents in, get $1 back, as Lil Wayne would once said.
Are you gambling at that point?
Well, it depends on if there's a risk or not. If you put your 2 cents in and you get $1 back, but the 2 cents is your opinion, and you get something more significant in return. By that logic, aren't we always gambling in life?
Yeah, probably.
It's all about what you have to lose.
I'm just here for it, you know.
You're just here for it. Are you though? It sounds like you're here to get steamrolled by it a little bit.
Steamrolled.
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's crazy because it's real.
Ooh.
Would you believe that we're 33 minutes into this already?
Hey man, we were talking about some deep stuff.
We were talking about some deep stuff. This kind of turned into therapy hour a little bit though. Yeah, so
that's okay.
It happens though, and I think that was a good way to kind of like step out of it and be like, hey, what's right, what's wrong, what's the real villain in this?
Well, I like having those conversations though.
For sure. That getting picked up by the microphone was necessary. The microphone liked that.
We just had to check the audio.
Oh no, we didn't have to check the audio. The audio checked us. Kind of like checked us out a little bit. So it's part of the process.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of things you can focus on in the podcast, and there's a lot of things that just aren't worth the time either.
Yeah.
So it's about setting those ground rules to where you don't run out of things to talk about, but also you don't get turned into like InfoWars Alex Jones type vibe.
Yeah, no, I don't like that.
Don't get me wrong, bro can be amusing when he gets so extra sometimes. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen him like go on a full-on rampage and like run around his studio and end up like running out of the backstage area and all that. If you haven't seen that, look up Alex Jones freaking out. Not Alex Jones crashing out. Alex Jones freaking out.
Okay.
You'll see like a bunch of people behind the scenes like trying to tackle bro, him like freaking out, like running around, ripping his shirt off.
Really?
It's a pretty funny video.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also videos of him like screaming about how we're making the frogs gay. Stuff like that's really, you know, entertaining because it's just like bro's normally talking about so much serious stuff, and then when bro just like randomly freaks out and like does like stuff that really can't be anything but comedy, you're just like, bro.
Wait.
What?
Were we saving the turtles because they were gay?
What do you mean saving the turtles?
Remember that Saving the Turtles movement with the Visco girls?
First off, the Visco girls, and this is not a hot take. Okay. We're kind of cringe.
I know. I understand. I'm not like.
How many turtles did the basic white girls buying the Hydro Flask really save?
Oh.
Or do you think that maybe Hydro Flask just emphasized on a trend?
Yeah.
And made some money.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, maybe they made billions of dollars and donated $100,000 to a charity. That's the equivalent of, you know, me making a full salary and donating $1 to the local food pantry.
Yeah.
Did you help? Yeah. Did you help enough to where you justified how much you got and how good you're doing? Probably not.
Yeah, no.
So that's where, does it even matter?
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
Politics is a no. What other no's do we have?
But probably just not talking about like specifically just one person and just like disrespecting them.
Oh, just like trash talk.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think that's important to not do in any part of your life, not just a podcast.
Just make sure that's there. You know.
Well, being this is episode 1, these are things that will either come back to help or come back to haunt us one day.
That's true. That's true.
But I think that's a pretty easy one to avoid because, you know, if you have feelings like that, you just have hatred in the first place, and yet not the very Christ-like thing to do. So I would say it's an easy one to avoid for me. Maybe since you're a hater, though, I don't know, man. I don't know.
A hater.
Okay. A little bit.
Okay.
So I have a funny story, and this is picking on one individual person.
Right.
But I'm pretty confident that this person would never end up listening to this podcast just because of the nature of their personality.
Okay.
So there's this one friend I have.
Okay.
I don't talk to them a lot anymore, but I'd still consider them a friend. Like, they're somebody that, like, if I were to give them a call, they'd return my call within a day to see what I needed. Okay. But not someone who would just immediately pick up either.
Right.
So they wouldn't pretend I don't exist, though. I can say that much.
Okay. Yeah.
So this person, they started a YouTube channel. And it was a vlog of their life.
Okay.
And it was just unedited footage, simple stuff, just, you know, hey, I'm doing this today. This is what I just bought at the store. You know, this is what I did today. This
like
is
the trendy thing that's going on right now of like waking up and going to work and doing this.
Not even that. Just kind of like a video diary more.
Okay.
So this friend really was getting into that. They made a couple episodes. Each one's about 40 minutes long.
Wow.
Really were enjoying like making them and editing them, and you know, just being excited that people would find that information.
Okay.
Now they finally got people like engaged with it like right away. The algorithm picked it right up.
Right.
And of course, super excited about that.
Right.
I mean, I was watching the videos and I was, you know, they were entertaining.
Yeah.
Because you know, it was just like, you know, cool. I'm hanging out with this person even when I'm too busy to hang out with them.
Yeah.
and someone left like a weird comment on their video, like one like just an inappropriate like sexual comment.
Okay.
And my friend just immediately freaked out and deleted the entire channel and everything.
Really?
Like first negative impression. Didn't even like bother like disabling comments, nothing. Just completely impulsively went for that. And my question is, was that the right thing to do?
No.
See, everyone's got different like tolerance levels of things they can put up with. Especially since the whole point of the channel was for people to find it. Good and bad will both find it.
Exactly.
So I would argue it wasn't either. However, let's argue the opposite of that, of why it was a good thing.
Okay.
You know, sure, the trolls are gonna laugh because the channel got deleted, but maybe it just keeps that person's peace. So maybe we look at it and go, oh, that's such a weird thing to do, to just immediately just give up on something you were so passionate about and planned out for months in advance and sunk so much time into. But
maybe that's how they sleep at night.
You know, maybe that's just how they have that peace.
Right.
And, you know, everyone's got like a different tolerance level for things. You know, I might be able to tolerate things that other people just think are like unimaginable to go through.
Yeah.
And you don't truly know what everyone's been through. Of course, there's some things where it's like a pretty easy cut and dry. Okay, you're being ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could definitely lean on that side with this thing, but you know, some people just have had really negative experiences with just people on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I think that any form of social media is not really the solution. And people like to call YouTube social media. And depending on how you use it, I'd say yes, and I'd also say no.
Well, it's also enabled these social media within the last couple of years. You know, the social media side of YouTube has been enabled more. But
I would say it's definitely grown, and I mean, the only thing enabling it has been advertisers get more money out of more people using the platform for a longer period of time.
Well, they got that like YouTube Shorts now.
Yeah, but YouTube Shorts isn't anything new. It's been around for years.
Really?
Yeah, it's been around since at least 2022, 2021 at this point.
That's when TikTok came out, right?
Well, technically TikTok's been out longer because TikTok was a different app name before it took off, and they renamed it when it wasn't doing good enough. But really, they stole the concept from Vine. But
okay, yeah.
I won't go into that whole history lesson, but Vine was basically the same concept as TikTok.
Yeah.
So, for why I would say YouTube counts as social media is commenting.
Okay.
The big thing that I feel social media can't do right is the same problem that used to happen on forum pages back in the day, message boards, depending on, you know, your age and stuff. You used to be able to go on a website. Let's say you really like Dodge trucks. You could go to dodgetrucks.com and click on their forum page.
Yeah.
And you'd find a bunch of people that all like Dodge trucks.
Yeah.
So you'd think they'd all get along. They don't all get along.
Right.
And someone ends up arguing with somebody, someone's trying to stir the pot and upset another person. But what was nice about that element is those websites were owned by somebody. So that somebody was the owner and had like a final say on what was on the page. But then they also had like a team of people that they trusted to also go in and be like, all right, this person's just being a jerk. Let's shut them down. We're going to give them a break from the website for a week. Now, you might be thinking of like, you know, YouTube, you know, authors can like go in and delete all that. And there is similarity there. And that's where social media has some of its toxicity roll over from the forums. But what makes social media worse and really has the negative impact is there's no single set of people that are in charge of what is being said on there.
Yeah.
It's not like you have just the people in your specific interest, so to say. Yes, they had to fall into the video, but you know, there's also the fact that YouTube isn't owned by a person. It's owned by a soulless corporation with employees that are just paid to react to things. It's not someone who cares about the community. It's not somebody who knows, oh, this person's been involved on here since 2012. Most of what they've said, hasn't been like fighting with people or causing issues. And then there's this other person who is a notoriously like just an obnoxious person but follows all the rules while being obnoxious. Those are things that social media has no proper checks and balances for, and they're not handled with equality.
Right.
And when you're treated unfairly, your instant response is to be upset.
Right.
And then when you have no recourse to fix the problems, it makes them even more frustrating. So that's, I feel, a big part of what leads into why people have so much more of a mental health thing that's going on now that social media is way more prevalent. Is, yes, you used to be able to talk on the internet, but you were talking to people that were in much smaller groups with a much larger amount of accountability. There was no review teams. There was no appealing and waiting for like a team to sit down and like go over things. Like you would talk to people and you would sort your problems out in a more straightforward way. What's your thoughts on all that, though?
I agree with the like the YouTube not having like any people like watching what's going on, like somebody overseeing what's going on.
And how would you with over 1 billion people on it?
Right. And I mean, it does make sense that, with all these unmonitored people, putting other people down, there probably is a mental health crisis, and that's what's fueling it. But I think that just overall accountability in people has been gone for quite a while now.
Did you say gone or dwindling?
Dwindling. Yeah, it's more appropriate. Dwindling.
On the internet, everyone feels like they have the armor of their keyboard and mouse. They feel like they can hide behind it and get away with anything. And that's why my big thing is just less social media is better for you. You're not going to make true friends on there. Things aren't going to go positive for you. There's very few success stories of where social media has truly made your life a better place in the long term.
Yeah.
Emphasis on in the long term, though.
Yeah, remember Charlie D'Amelio? Where's she at now?
Ooh, I know the name. I'm just joking, though. But, like, becoming social media famous, becoming famous in any way is not good in the long run if you're in it for the wrong reason. If you just do good and you end up having a lot of people like you is different than becoming famous and then everybody like profiting off of it, and you make like this company out of like how effective you are at doing XYZ. It becomes you take a passion and you make it a profit at that point.
Right.
And if you take what you love and make it your career, it doesn't matter what you do. That's not going to be as exciting for you because it's work at that point.
Right.
And that's where I'm very careful when people are like, oh, my primary passion is this and I'm going to do it for work. It's like you're going to end up having resentments towards part of what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at musicians, they have passion for what they do for sure, but if that's their full-time thing and they do nothing else, there's days where they aren't happy about it. There's days where it's just work to them and it's not something that's pure passion. I mean, music is one of those things where it's easier to argue in and out of that because it's good for the soul and there's a lot of other things for it too. But like, let's look at like the computer field, which I'm big into. I've always been big about technology. I've always thought it was really cool. And then I went and I did it for work, and it's like, for a while, I just had like no interest in it once I got done with work. But, I mean, in my case, it was just a matter of focusing my career field onto the specifics. Once I focused things onto the specifics, I was able to determine all right, as long as I'm not doing the things I do at work at home, it's not going to be seen like work for me.
Mm.
It's not that simple with some fields. You know, like for your instance, with being really passionate about driving truck,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be really passionate about driving truck for the first 6 months,
Right.
maybe even the first year, maybe even the first 3. But one day you're gonna wake up and be like, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And what do you do at that point? Does that mean you've lost your passion?
Maybe you've just seen the other side of the coin, and it ain't really shiny on the other side like it is.
The grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Right.
Age old saying.
It's kind of like that concept of like, watching the NFL on TV, and then your little Timmy in 6th grade wanting to try out for the football team.
And then you get demolished by an 8th grader.
Not even that. It's just, it's like you're, the coaching, you know, the, the, the hard days of, practice, or the hard games, and and the, the constant, drive to do better, but it's like almost forced upon you in a way to get better.
Yep.
And then it's like, man, I'm tired.
Yep.
Like, this ain't what it looks like on TV.
Yeah.
And not to knock any coach by any means, man, but it's just, sometimes you really gotta think about the audience that you're coaching to.
Yep.
And how you're addressing it. I've heard many stories of people been really passionate about basketball or football or lacrosse, and they don't like it anymore because it's tiring at that point.
Like I was saying, at a certain point it becomes work. And you're not in it for the passion anymore. You're in it because you have to be.
Right. And yeah.
And that's where if you take what you're passionate about and you make it your lifestyle.
And that's why I think it's dangerous, like when you're growing up, it's like, what do you like to do? What do what are your things? And me, it was trucks. I love truck. I love looking at trucks.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Be 4 years old, staring at the window. I stare at that thing for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get me to move.
Right.
Where am I at now?
Driving the truck every now and then. Every now and then.
Yeah. No, it's. I don't know, man. It's just it's a dangerous thing. Being told to do something that you're passionate about because it ain't ever gonna feel like work.
Until one day it does.
Yeah, like I remember when I first started, with the company I was, right at high school. I figured out really quick that I didn't like being on a construction site.
Yep.
Even though that's something that I thought was really cool. Actually, I hated it.
Yep.
I really liked the equipment side. Just the big, just the big equipment, but like as far as like constructing things and building things, I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated it. I didn't like numbers. I didn't like, doing this and doing that, and just constantly being just, go.
Yeah.
Just to make a handful of money each hour, while this guy is making thousands off my $18 an hour.
That's the name of the game, though.
Yeah. But at that point, it's like, am I being used? Like,
I must pause you. Our
Okay.
sponsor has appeared. The Ford Focus in the color of red is
Who
currently
drives it? You
reversing.
guys see who drives it?
He is currently revving it up. He does not really know how to drive a manual transmission. He does know how to reverse, though. Ooh, that even got picked up by the microphone. We had him flutter the clutch not one, not 2 times,
Do
but 3 times. He revved that bad boy.
Do we mention that he was still in reverse when putting it into first?
He was still rolling backwards when he dumped that clutch.
Yeah.
That's why he got those engine RPMs nice and high. 3 good revs before you just dump it right into first.
Wee.
It's amazing that guy has a tranny at all at this point. Hey yo, what? Tranny connects the engine to the wheels.
We should just take that out of context.
Ooh.
Surprised that guy's got a tranny.
Yeah. I'm surprised the tranny hasn't jumped right out of the car at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I imagine his tranny fluid's not in good shape.
Yeah. If I was that tranny, I'd jump out the window by now.
Yeah. Transmissions do not like being put into drive when you're still going the opposite direction. It's almost like
it wasn't built for that.
It's almost like when you're going forward, you shouldn't be going in reverse at the same time. But you know, almost everybody does that. They're like rolling in reverse, and they slap it forward, and then you tell them you're damaging their transmission. They're like, no, it's built to do that. Why would it let me otherwise? Why would it let me otherwise? As if every part of your life has guardrails.
Why should I tell you not to do drugs, but you do drugs anyway?
Well, your body didn't stop you from doing them, so therefore you should.
Hmm.
Well, your phone doesn't come with time limits on it there, so clearly you should spend as much time on it every day as you can.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was meant to be that way, it would just come that way by default.
Yeah.
There'd be warnings, like if you put your volume too loud on a pair of earbuds that your phone tells you it's too loud. Clearly, if there was a problem, I mean, they'd do it other places too. I mean,
yeah.
There's no skepticism there. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
I think that social media really, though, is where so many problems come in. The second you have the ability to have that distraction from the distraction is when your brain actually has a moment to be original.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You do see some original things on social media that you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there's a time and place for some of it.
Right.
But the problem is you can only have so much information at once. It's like if you were to try and drink from a fire hose, as the saying goes. Mm-hmm. You're going to be losing a lot of water.
Right.
A lot of water is going to be getting wasted.
Right.
So a lot of information is getting wasted that you're seeing. So how do you differentiate what you should and shouldn't be taking in when no matter what you're looking at does impression you as a person? Even if you disagree with it, it does affect you.
Yeah.
So I'd say, you know, as we narrow in on concluding the first episode, since we're getting close to an hour.
Yeah.
The closing thought I want to say is, what is the right and wrong answer? If you could just snap your fingers and immediately make a change, what is the easiest change you could make to see improvement in your life immediately? I already have answers in my personal life, but it'd be interesting to see your perspective on that, to know what can you focus in on. I mean, yes, I've been picking on social media, but do you think there's a better target? You had to narrow it in on one thing. What would it be? And what is your solution for that one thing you narrowed in on? Deep question. Bro's so locked in, he don't even know what to say.
I'm still thinking.
It's got to be one that's right off the tip of your head, man.
Okay.
It can't be one where you like.
Then I do have one.
All right, let's hear it.
I would say going back to simpler times and just, you know, being, one of those things where if you see me, you see me. If you don't, you don't.
Okay.
Just deleting all social media, and just enjoying life, in the present, because that's why it's called a present. 'Cause it's a gift.
Okay.
And, I feel like sometimes we take that for granted.
Okay.
Just living in the moment. When you don't even realize you're in the moment sometimes. Because you're just, your mind is so hardwired by looking at the next best thing, like scrolling. It's always the next best thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Always trying to find something better than the last thing you saw.
Right. Right. Not just taking it in as it, just comes.
So you say going to simpler times, and your suggestion of that is deleting all of social media, or did you have like more you were adding to that? Because I don't want to make this the delete the social media podcast.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like,
just
what other things can be done to make your life simpler and also live more in the moment outside of social media? Like what's a lifestyle thing that you think you'd need to change outside of technology as a whole?
Outside of technology as a whole. Okay. Maybe just doing what our parents did before the phones, and or doing like what your dad, said, that these streets would just be filled with people just hanging out.
Yep.
Just like going over to your neighbor and just be like, hey, do you want to have a cookout? Do you want to, do this on Saturday? Do you,
Yep.
And just, and it doesn't even involve the phone.
Yeah.
Because like back when our parents were growing up, the people around you is all you knew.
Yep.
You didn't know that girl from Virginia.
Yep.
You didn't know that girl from California. You knew the people that were in your neighborhood, and that was about it.
I wish I didn't know that girl from California. I'm not saying any names, but
yeah, hey, you don't need to, but just, and that's back when, people really cared about each other. Their circles were significantly smaller, not in the fact that, not in the fact that they were friends with these people, not friends with those people, but just, you knew who you were talking to. And you had a genuine conversation with them when you saw them.
yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Just reaching out in person and to the people that are directly around you that you see every day.
What about people that don't know where to start on that, though? What would you say is step one in that process?
I mean, if you're a kid like me,
A kid like you.
dude,
you turned 20 in a couple
a young
weeks.
brother, a young brother like me,
a young brother like him.
19, 20, 21. I mean, try and just find somebody that you hang out with. Just walk around in, your neighborhood and stuff, and just kind of do your own thing. Maybe, you'll see a group of people your age one day, and just maybe just introduce yourself. Just be like, hey, my name is so and so. I live, on this street.
Yep.
This and that, and
It might go good, it might not. You never know. Some people are just jerks.
Yeah, I mean,
it's part of life.
Yeah. Or, at work, just like, hey man, you doing anything Saturday?
That's a topic for a different video. Being friends with coworkers is a slippery slope. That's a topic for a different episode, though.
It all depends on where you work and the line of work you're in. And
there's also there's also brick walls that you should keep up no matter who you work with.
Right.
But That's a whole other rant. This would turn into a 3-hour podcast if we did.
But that's all. You should obviously get to know that person first before you extend an invite like that. But
yes,
but that's another time.
That's a rant for another day.
Yeah.
But no, I'd say that's good. You know, I mean.
But you gotta remember though, these are simpler times. So maybe hearing this is foreign to you.
Yeah. But I think also in a way, since we live in such complex times, suggesting simpler things is almost the only way to go about doing things. Because if you let everything be overcomplicated, you just end up in this giant decision fatigue that we all know and love. If you don't know and love it, try and live your life all day and then be asked a simple question and not have to be able to answer it. Of like, what do you want for dinner? You don't even have to cook it, but you can't figure it out, and that happens. That happens a lot, actually.
It's almost like it happened today.
Well, I decided on dinner for you, so I don't want to hear it.
It almost happened yesterday or the day before too.
Yeah,
Friday.
Yeah. Hey, the reason why I'm able to identify it is because I'm affected by it too.
Yeah.
But I think this has been productive. That's if I had to put it into one word, I'd say that though, because I gave you a lot of ideas that it sounds like you can digest and work with them, and you also hit me with some stuff that I feel called out about too. It's like it's very easy in the part of the world we live in to just not interact with the people around us and just kind of live our own lives and be completely isolated. And I'm probably worse about it than most people because like I have the people I work around, and then the people I have to be around, and the people that I'm like accomplishing things with, but then I don't get to know them. So I definitely feel called out to really actually get to know people better instead of just working alongside them. So I'm definitely gonna challenge myself to try some of those things, and hopefully you'll challenge yourself to work on the self-reflection a little bit alongside that, and both coach on that and kind of give a follow-up on that in future episodes as well as to how that's working for us and what goes from there. So with that being said, though, do you have any closing thoughts before we conclude episode 1?
I got young Huz calling a brother's phone.
I can't top that one. In the wise words of many musical poets, as we will call them, that is a prominent thing to think about. So I think as the gamers like to say, quit while you're ahead. And with that, I would say we can conclude episode number 1.